A hilarious new stand-up special from comedy legend Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, is coming to Hulu November 22nd. This Thanksgiving, see Jim in a whole new light as he gives you the inside scoop on everything from parenting teenagers to weight loss and gaslighting family members. For everyone in need of a happy hour, the new hilarious stand-up special, Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, premieres November 22nd, streaming on Hulu.
Need turkey tips? Our Butterball Turkey Talk line is open. We'll help with what's on the table so you can focus on those around it. Call 1-800-BUTTERBALL or text 844-877-3456. Butterball. Today, we turkey.
Ask me. Ask Iliza anything. It's time to ask. Ask me all your questions. Leave them in the Instagram comment section. Leave them on your Twitter or leave them on your Facebook. We'll see them. We'll read them. Then we'll give you answers. You know it. I've got it. I've got the answer. The answer. You ask me. I'll tell you anything. Welcome back to another episode of Ask Iliza Anything, the podcast where I occasionally have on my friends that are super cool. And he's been kind enough to join me today. We've got my friend. Everybody says Elan, but I say Elan. Is it wrong?
I can't actually hear the difference anymore. You just said the same thing twice to me.
I hear, people say Iliza and Eliza. I say Eliza, but it is Iliza.
I don't hear the difference. Maybe
Elon?
I don't hear vowels.
Maybe Elan.
Elan.
I don't think you hear stress. Like there's the stress. Elan and Elon.
I can't hear those little accent marks, no matter which ones they are.
Okay, so you're racist.
Yeah.
I don't hear your accent.
No, accent marks.
Mm-hmm.
Like
you can't hear the silent accent.
I can't hear umlauts.
Well, you don't have any in your name.
Right.
It would be Elan, which would be hideous. The two dots.
That's how my mother says it.
Elan. Elan Gale,
Hello.
author of You're Not That Great, but Neither Is Anyone Else, a book that I'm featured in.
Yeah, because you're not that great, but neither is anyone else.
I beg to differ. But you're the author of that, and you produced The Bachelor for 10 years. Folks, we're not a podcast about what do you do. We're a podcast about what are you. So The Bachelor was your job, but you're so much more than that, which is why I'm friends with you.
What do you think I am?
That's why you're here.
Okay.
No,
do you have a sense?
I describe you as when I thought I should have Elan on the podcast. You strike me as sort of a jack of all trades, but more in the sense that you know a lot of people and everybody everybody likes you and you've got this wide array of friends and you're always jet setting off. I've known you for a very long time before you were jet setting, and I've watched your jet setting grow. Elan will just be on a plane to China, gonna go eat soup dumplings with my girlfriend Molly, and you just take these trips and it's very inspiring because you just do it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've watched that.
But it all comes back to it's funny because if you think about how all of that comes together, it's just a fear of my own death.
Sure.
It's just my fear of mortality.
Spoken like a true man.
And as a Jew, I'm just afraid that I'm going to die, and I'm afraid, I think my number one fear in life is that 1 minute before I die that I'll be aware enough to feel the full weight of the regret of my life.
I'm going to just add some clarity to that. You're definitely going to die, but no regrets because you've already done so many fun things. If you died right now and people were like, did you have fun?
Yes, but every single thing along the way, I had to make a decision because doing those kind of things is not a responsible choice.
Right.
Going to China to eat is fun. It's great. It's interesting. It's not a fiscally responsible choice.
Right.
It's not a carbon responsible choice.
The flight's leaving ananyway.
That's true. But it's not like I can go, oh, this is a smart idea. What I'm doing is I'm doing it because the weight of what would I feel like if I didn't do this is stronger than what do I need for the future.
But it's soul responsible, and you don't, this is not, if you were a woman, I wouldn't say this, but you're not married, you don't have kids.
Right.
So this is the time to do those things because to do it later would be irresponsible.
Totally. And I think my goal is to continue to do it and probably not have kids for that reason, because I'm not sure that I consider having kids responsible for me.
For you, right.
For me.
I think people should listen to that. You know, Elon's basically saying, like, take the bull by the horns, go do the fun thing, because you don't know when you're going to do it again or if you're going to die.
And just make sure the fun thing is actually something fun and not something that other people have told you is fun and not something that you saw on Instagram.
Give me an example, because that topic makes me so horny. I'm like, let's talk about things like music festivals.
I have a good one.
I know I won't enjoy it.
I have a good one that's probably a lot of people will disagree with. So it's a hot take. Don't go to Venice in Italy.
I agree.
Don't go to Venice in Italy. And I have
because we'll say it's because it's 1, 2, 3.
The
Stinky.
same thing as it.
Stinky.
Okay, it is that, but that's not the issue. The issue for me is if you've seen a lot of photographs of Venice, you've already seen Venice. It never is going to be better than what it looked like in the photographs you saw. It's never going to live up to your expectations. Whereas some place like Machu Picchu, for example, also half the price to get there. Meanwhile, it's so much more than you can ever capture in a photograph.
Photo, sure.
And Venice is just like you're lost all the time. There's
so hot.
Tons of mask stores. Everyone's yelling at you.
So many enough with the Shakespeare. So many mask stores and so many tourists.
Yeah. Well, and I get it. Oh,
and it's sinking.
Here's another one. Versailles.
I thought Versailles was pretty.
Okay, but the building or the outside?
The outside.
Right.
Right.
Skip the building. The building is a building.
But also
look at
go
pictures of the building.
The building was not as big. The gardens and the
gardens are
library.
unbelievable. You can't capture them in a photograph. There's so many. They're so vast.
Right. It's
Vast.
Vist.
Vist.
I feel this way about most things. I also think, I always love the idea that something will surprise me, but I always feel like at 36, like I kind of have a handle on what I will and won't like.
Right.
And it's chances are, like my friend was like, I've got front row tickets to Death Cab for Cutie. And I was like, should love the band, kind of skip that one. Don't enjoy live music that I don't know all the words to.
Right.
Don't want to go. Don't love live music. I know I won't.
did that. I went to Iraq. But I also, whenever that instinct comes up in me, I have to check myself because I'm also like a stubborn bitch.
Yes.
So I had to go, oh man, someone invited me to a Rack and Tours concert 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
and
I heard it was really
I know like 3 songs. And I was like, I'm not going to. And I went and I had an amazing time.
Yeah.
Because I think part of, growing up, we're about the same age, is you have to like learn your shortcuts for what you do and don't like. Mm-hmm. And you also have to accept that you're probably wrong about 90% of things. At least that's how I look at it. I think you're more this is where we differ.
Only here though.
Well, I think it's because it's our core mentality as friends for years is that you know what you're doing and it works for you. And I really believe that. I'm not saying that I have no idea what I'm doing. I really don't.
Okay.
I just do it really fucking hard. And
That's
it
fair.
works a lot. And it doesn't work a lot. I think I generally live in a much more anxious, unhappy place than you do.
Now that you're saying it and I'm putting things together, maybe, but that's where we converge, but where we come back, that's where we diverge, and where we converge is you don't know what you're doing, I do, but we're both doing it really hard. And I think we're both yielding similar results where I'm like, this is not working most of the time, even though I'm doing it really hard.
Well, you're also a good example of someone who you've known what you've wanted to do with your life for a long time. Since I've met you, you've been the same person, same goals, larger and larger and larger and increasing and changing in that way.
Yeah.
I don't know what I want to do when I grow up. I don't know what I want to be. I don't know what I want my life to look like at all. I really don't. I mean, I know that I want it to go well.
Right.
But like tomorrow, if you're like, hey, you're going to go do a show about food for 10 years, I'd be like, that's really exciting. And if you said, hey, go write a horror movie in the woods, I would feel the same about that. I don't have the confidence to know what I want.
I think a lot of people feel that way because I also feel that way. If someone to me said tomorrow, you're going to go make 10 movies, I'd be as excited as someone said, you're going to have your own sitcom. I think the goal is to be better and bigger and happier in bigger and bigger ways.
Yeah.
So it's not like I got to make partner at the firm, especially with something as nebulous as show business where that goalpost is moving so much.
Fall has fallen, winter is on its way, the days are shorter. But just because, well, they feel shorter. And just because the days feel shorter doesn't mean your to-do list gets any shorter. You still have to power through your busy days. And a great way to do that is with nutritious food from Factor's no prep, no mess meals. At the end of a short day in the fall or the winter, the last thing you want to do is have to cook. Factor has got you covered from breakfast, snacks, dinner, anything in between. Factor has easy, nutritious options to keep you fueled, like their chicken Florentine with spinach and garlic chili cauliflower. You bet. That's what I want to make myself at the end of a day where I am exhausted and my husband isn't home. Whether you like routine or you enjoy mixing things up, Factor has you covered with 35 different delicious meals every week and over 60 additional convenience options you can add on, like keto cookies, pressed juices, and smoothies. And because Factor meals are chef prepared and dietitian approved, you're going to love not only Factor's meals taste, but also how they support your goals, even if your goal was just making yourself dinner. Head to factormeals.com/Iliza50 and use code Iliza50 to get 50% off your first box and 20% off your next month. That's code Iliza50 at factormeals.com/Iliza50 to get 50% off your first box, plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active. The holidays are here. And for a lot of us, the holidays mean decorating, hosting, celebrating. For me, it means a lot of traveling, and nothing feels better year-round, but especially during the cozy holidays, than a restful night's sleep in soft, luxurious sheets. Boll & Branch's signature sheets are made with the finest 100% organic cotton, and they get softer with every single wash. You already know that I got Boll & Branch this summer when I needed breathable sheets to sleep in, but this holiday season, I'm actually gifting some of my friends and family Boll & Branch's Ultimate Softness Bundle. I get to choose a signature hem sheet set in any color, a signature hem pillow set, and a waffle bed blanket. And they're all getting juniper because I think it's a classy color. This way you know you have something nice to sleep on when you visit. It's the perfect gift for you and them. Gift you and your loved ones a better night's sleep with Boll & Branch. And right now is their best offer of the entire year. For 25% off plus free shipping on your first set of sheets, head to bollandbranch.com/Iliza. That's Boll & Branch, BOLLAND branch.com/Iliza for 25% off. Limited time only, exclusions apply. See site for details. So finally, fall is here. I have been looking forward to it. I have had a hard year in a good way. You know, like I had a baby. I have been on a nonstop tour, nonstop traveling, and it's been hot. So I'm looking forward to, of course, pumpkin spice, everything, cooler weather, and slipping into a cozy sweater from Quince. I've talked about Quince before. Quince has beautiful leather jackets, cotton cardigans, soft denim, and so much more. All Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Dressing expensive doesn't have to be expensive. Their clothing is beautiful, it's durable, it stands the test of time, and it's what I like to call a capsule wardrobe. I got an Italian wool cocoon coat. That's one of those, you know, it's got like a European collar and it covers my butt so I can walk around New York City and not be chilly. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices. Get cozy in Quince's high-quality wardrobe essentials. Go to quince.com/Iliza for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/Iliza to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Iliza.
Yeah.
You know,
but here's the question. If somebody said, okay, Iliza, we want you to make a new TV show, but it needs to be a psychological thriller. No comedy, nothing funny. Go. Are you excited? Do you want to do that?
I'd say, can we get the girl who, can we get, oh shit, what's her name from Killing Eve? The girl that wrote it. Come on.
Oh, God. The girl
that wrote
Phoebe
Fleabag.
Waller-Bridge.
Yeah, can Phoebe Waller-Bridge write it? And can I just redo Killing Eve, but I'll be the one with the accents? You know what? No, because that's not a genre. If somebody gave me a part, that would be fun, but that doesn't, like sci-fi, for example, I'd be like, I'm falling asleep.
Because you have like a wheelhouse.
Yeah, you got a wheelhouse.
You have a thing that you're good at, and you can do a million things with that.
And you feel that your wheelhouse is almost everything in a way.
Or conversely, almost nothing.
Almost nothing. Well, that's a very you thing. Like, or it's nothing.
I think I have nothing special about me other than my willingness to go really hard at shit.
That's very special.
And I think that, and I agree. I think that is something that a lot of people don't have the energy for.
Well, I think you're selling yourself short. Somebody wants, just going back to Sleeping Siren 6, how did you and Iliza meet and become great friends? I think I'll let you tell the story.
Well, okay, I'm going to try to get it right.
Okay.
Okay, so I was on Twitter.
Yes.
Where I spend a lot of my life because I like talking to strangers.
You do. You like
I really
people.
do. I love interacting with strangers. I also I like disliking people and arguing with them. I just like interacting.
Yeah.
And I think that I was following you, and I think you followed me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we had a conversation somewhere. I think you DM'd me first. And I think you said, hey, I'm thinking about doing a one-woman show.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to help me? Mm-hmm. Now, here I am, person who does not do anything in that world. And what do? I say, of course I do. Let's meet and talk about it.
Yeah.
And then we met. We went to coffee.
Yes, at Insomnia.
At Insomnia. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't remember that. And we sat and we talked, and you talked about this show you wanted to do, and it was it's still a great idea.
I don't remember it.
You don't?
Was it the categorizing of things?
Yeah, but it was all about your
blog.
hometown.
Oh, God. I think I was trying desperately to mesh two ideas together, and we couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, well, what ended up happening in my memory is you wrote a first draft, you sent it to me. I sent back a bunch of notes on an airplane. Mm-hmm. You looked at it and you said, okay, cool. And then we said, let's get together in a few weeks. I came back to town. We got together. We were both not in relationships and dating like people randomly, and it was going poorly for both of us. Uh-huh. We talked about all the people we were dating poorly for about 3 hours, accomplished nothing. And then we did that again the next meeting.
Yes.
And then the next time, the third time we hung out, we said, maybe we should just be friends because we're fucking bad at working together because we accomplished nothing.
Nothing.
Is that?
I think that's that's apt, and I think that's very fair. And I just, I have that thing as a girl where I see, it's tough because you see men, you're like, I want to be friends with that guy.
Yeah.
And I, for some reason, you carried yourself like someone who, I knew you produced The Bachelor, so I knew you had some semblance of story, and you were smart, and I thought you were funny, and I was like, I bet this guy has an idea or two. And I liked talking to you, and it's that thing, it's always a tricky thing. It's always interesting when you can come out with an actual friendship where the story isn't like, and then we made out, and then we dated. It's just like, we are friends now.
Yeah.
And that was that.
And what I liked about you is because when I'm out there doing my friend collecting, I like people who outshine me in very particular ways. And in my friend groups, I was always like kind of quick and like kind of witty and kind of funny. And you just fucking blew past me in our conversations. Like I was always like trying to do my thing where I talk slow and enunciate and make a real good joke. And by the time I finished one, you already back at me.
Aww.
And I really liked that because to this day I feel challenged talking to you in that way. And I mean that.
Thank you.
And that's why I think I've always wanted to continue to be your friend.
Yeah.
Because it takes a lot to maintain a friendship when two people are busy.
Well, also, I will just say this because what you're describing, if I found that in another person, I'd be like, I hate this guy. What the hell is his problem? Doesn't he know I'm better? So that's really evolved of you to be like, I like that. And I think you're a very disarming person. I think that's why people like you. And you know what you know. You're never a dick. You're interesting. You got a fun look. I always want you to come to an event or a party because I'm like, look what a fun person I have here. And he's cool to talk to. So I'm glad that we're still friends. And people were excited to have you on here. And they've got a lot of questions. You write these books on advice.
Yeah.
What is anti-self-help? You have a name for the category.
It's
inspirational.
Inspirational. It's to make you feel worse.
So we've got I'm just going to kick it off. Naja.Nutella. Eliza, you're so funny. Your podcast makes my day. This question is for both of you. What do you do to make yourself feel better after a crappy day? Do you stress eat, meditate, exercise, spend time with family and friends? I would love some ideas on how to unwind.
Oh, I got a good one.
I want to hear all of it.
Because it's one thing for me.
Okay.
And it's how I got into one of my passions, which is cooking.
You also have the food of Elan. That sounds like I dropped that audio in later. And this is your Instagram because this guy eats Michelin star restaurants all over the world, tiny hidden gems. Like you are a foodie in the greatest sense of the word.
It's the thing I love the most in the world. And a lot of it got started because I'm a stress case. I consider almost every day a bad day. Once in a while, I'll have a good day. Today's been nice. Today's been real nice.
Podcast not over.
We'll see how it goes. But what I do is I cook. And the reason I do it is because it requires concentration. So like taking an onion or a bell pepper and brunoising it and just like making it into tiny little bits, That takes concentration. And if you don't concentrate, if you think about how bad your day is, you're going to cut your hand open.
Ooh,
and that's a
high
way
stakes.
in which I'm just staring at something, trying to get it right. And then it gives me a sense of accomplishment when I get it. Because oftentimes when I'm feeling like lonely or lost or shitty about myself, it's because I feel unaccomplished in the day itself. And it doesn't need to be a big goal. It doesn't need to be writing a book. It doesn't need to be like making a movie. It can be making a fucking salad. I just want to create something that is good.
Okay.
And that takes it all away from me.
Does it?
It really does. It's either making a good meal or eating a good meal.
It's interesting because I've watched your Instagram over the years, you know, and you've become quite the chef. You had us over for dinner, and like I look at your food is pretty. It's not like home cooked hash, you know, like these are like delicate. You like hot cuisine, and so there's a delicate aspect to it, and you research the thing. It's a lot of Asian food, but you really do whatever. And I think it's always cool when your hobby can become something that you're actually quite proficient at.
Yeah, well, you know, you kind of get better because you have to. Like if that's what you're living off of, if that's the food you eat, you know, if you don't give yourself the option of eating out all the time, you simply will get good at cooking.
Interesting.
Because you are eating it every day. And the first 30 times you make something, I always say, people are like, what if it's not good? Good question. Throw it away, order a pizza. But after 30 times, you can't do that anymore. You have to get better. You got to get your shit together.
Also, you want to feel like you're evolving. You know, I do think there is a freedom, I haven't found this thing yet, in being really bad at something that you love doing.
Yeah.
I don't know that I have any hobbies, but I wouldn't mind being bad at something that I really enjoy.
I love bowling. Terrible at it. Love it. Yeah, but I love it, and I don't care if I'm good. I just like throwing balls at things.
No stakes. You love that you said
no
that sentence.
stakes.
Your nostrils flared. I was like, I don't want it.
I have tells.
Do you? It's a tell. Are you? Because I'm like, I love bowling. There's some friends. We have some drinks. But after the first game, they're like, let's go another. I'm like, can we just go home?
No,
I can't do it.
I can just do it all day long because, again, it's a thing for me where I'm concentrating on a task. And anytime here's another good example that I learned in the last few years, working out. And people will say it's the endorphin rush or whatever. For me, it's any distraction from the emotional anguish of living.
You've got some existential crises here.
Full time.
Full time.
Full time, baby.
Is it existential crisis? Full time? All the time. Centauri time. I guess I just get bored. And then I'm trying to think of what my thing is to relieve stress. I don't think I do. I think, you know, at like 10 p.m. I'll watch some episodes of The Office. Yeah. But I will wake up at 3 a.m. like, I didn't do the corrections on my draft. I
think you collect stress.
Probably.
I think you collect it, and then I think you shoot it out at your audience.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, because after a show, I have nothing left to give.
I think if you were to have a good stress reliever, it would weaken your performance.
I think that a lot of doctors would disagree because I think a lot of people have that fear. Like, if I take this medicine, if I meditate, will I lose my edge? And then people would say, no, you'll just be more focused. I don't enjoy weed, and I don't think there's a lot of things that you can do to unwind that don't require energy.
No.
So,
and I don't think, do you feel like you need to unwind?
Sometimes.
Sometimes? And what?
I feel like people tell me, but I don't know.
I guess that's what I'm saying. Like, the person who asked the question, that person needs to unwind. I need to unwind. You don't need to unwind.
I don't.
And the
think
idea
so.
that we all need the same thing is a giant problem.
I love that. You're right.
You don't need to unwind. I do. I need to fucking relax. You're good.
You don't think I'm?
No, I think this is why you're good.
Right.
I think this is why you're who you are, because you've embraced the fact that you are at 9.5 almost all the time, and then occasionally you go to 11. We went to breakfast 2 weeks ago. You were at 9.5. You had just finished a workout. You were exhausted.
Yeah.
And you were the same as you were on stage.
Funny.
You just operate at that level.
You're like, and we all had a horrible time with you.
No, it was great because I had no energy, and I was
Right.
like, oh, good, Eliza's going to talk. I don't have to do any work. I can listen and enjoy.
That's so funny because I left that thinking like, oh, we all had a conversation.
We did.
We did.
But, you run it.
It's
You
interesting.
run your social circles.
I do. And I'm okay to not. I'm a big collector of I'm not a good social climber. And I think a big part of being in LA is like playing that game.
Yeah.
And there are strategically people you would invite to a dinner party or you maintain certain friendships, but like I reward consistency. and
Yeah.
I make spiritual investments in people. And if I don't get that reciprocated, I just can't.
Like, here's the thing. I think you and I could not travel together.
I wonder.
I don't think so. I don't think that, because I love being around you. I love your energy. I don't think you should calm down at all. If we spent 72 hours together, I think I would annoy you with my lack of ability to keep up, and you would annoy me with your energy. But I think that that's why we've always maintained this really particular friendship where we see each other once every few months.
Yeah.
Or sometimes, once a couple weeks for a while. And in those moments, we always find a balance.
Yeah.
We go right back to where we started.
We see each other when we need something from each other. Like, I need a quote for this book. I need you to be in my book. We
Right.
Yeah, I think that's okay.
I think it's good.
I
think we fulfill each other's lives in that way. Again, other friends are for other things. Those people that are there for you, not everyone is
everyone's
for everything.
I completely agree. Not everyone's for everything. And I think that's something, especially for the girls that are listening, I get a lot of questions about, like, should I get rid of this friend? Some friends are just the friends you get a pedicure with. Some friends, the travel ones, you won't know till you actually do it. Some friends are not adaptable. Some friends you could talk to about family things, but your best friend is for everything.
I agree. I think that having people that are, it's like a baseball team. It's like Moneyball. You know what I mean? Like having people that fulfill certain roles in your life, and also understanding that you fill particular roles in other people's lives too. You can't be everything to them also. Oof. And knowing your own place in their life, that's how you stop being hurt when people don't invite you to things. Don't invite you to weddings or parties. Like, there's a lot of parties and weddings I don't get invited to, and I go, that's correct.
Right.
Because I'm not a part of, like, that part of your life. I'm not there to be with your family and friends. I'm there to have coffee with every 2 weeks, and I don't need to be different.
I think I would say, I think sometimes as women, the ego is so, everyone has an ego, but we take it as such an affront to us as women. Like, how could you not? And I'm sitting there thinking, like, please don't invite me. I don't want to go. I don't want to go to your thing. I want to sit and stare at the wall, which is like a hobby of mine. So
your wedding was great, though. And thank
was.
you for inviting me.
Thank you.
And as soon as I saw you dance with your dad, I left because there was nothing. There was nothing.
Great. $100 plate dinner. Glad you took off.
I ate the food.
Okay, good. But there is that thing where closer friends stayed. You come for the service, which I really do think is the most important part. Yeah. And you get the gist of it. You missed the pastrami bar and the candy bar.
I did, and I thought about it a lot.
Good.
From the comfort of my bed,
That's
relaxing.
all. That's what I want you to ponder it. Anonymous. I'm a 24-year-old girl, and I live in San Diego. I graduated from college in 2017, and a month before graduation, I started dating my best friend. You got it?
Yeah.
These are printed out so I can read along sometimes because it's hard for me to follow.
Yeah, no.
When there's more than one thing.
I hear you.
Okay. We were friends all throughout college. We did long distance from Santa Barbara, where I live, to San Diego. It's not really long distance. After a year of long distance, I decided to move to San Diego with a few of my friends to be closer to my boyfriend. A year later, things were going very well, but on our 2-year anniversary, he dumped me saying he couldn't handle the stress of a relationship. He just turned 25 and has an extremely stressful sales job, and I feel this is a huge reason he may be going through this quarter-life crisis. 3 months after the breakup, he wants to get back together and regrets letting go of such an amazing person, which I am. But I can't help but think this is freak out and bail attitude is not a fluke, but a very flawed personality trait. Am I right to stay away? Ooh, that's a good one.
Oh.
Elan?
Yeah, that's a lot. There's a lot of complexities there. 5-hour commutes are actually the worst, in my opinion.
Closer. San Diego to Santa Barbara?
It's like 5 hours.
Oh, you're right. It's because Santa Barbara's north.
Yeah.
Never
The
mind.
problem with
It's
that
far.
one is that you can. I dated someone that lived in Fresno for 2 years, and when you can drive in 4 or 5 hours, that makes it worse than when you're across the country. Because whenever you're having a bad day, you can expect the other person to just make it, to find a way. Whereas if you're across the country, you go, oh, they don't have a ticket. That's a pain in the ass. You excuse them more. That said, it really depends on how the relationship has gone. If this person has had a tendency to freak out and run, then you already know this is a pattern. If it's a one-time thing, you have to decide. Do you want to give them one more chance, not 2, 3, 4, or 5? But you need to lay down the ground rules in a really specific way, in my opinion, where you say, listen, here's my analysis of what happened. You cut and run. And if you cut and run again, from that moment on, there will be no contact. There will be no mercy. It will be the end of you and I as humans on this earth knowing each other. And if you're willing to take that, on, knowing that there's not going to be a smooth breakup, there's not going to be patience and calm and kindness. I'm going to fuck up your life, motherfucker, if you do this again. And then if that person goes, I am so confident I'm willing to take that challenge on, give it a shot.
Yep. That's fair. I don't think many people are good with ultimatums. I'm that way. I'm like, you won't even, if I ever had a guy do that or like cheat on me, it would be like taken in the middle of the night. Like you'd wake up, I'd be gone, bed unmade, stuff gone, like Black Ops stealth mode out of your house. And I would never talk to you again.
But see, you're right. People are bad at ultimatums. But what the guy did is he gave her an ultimatum and then didn't give her the choice. Right? He basically already did that once. He said, it's my way or the highway.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, it's my way.
Okay.
So if you don't feel, you should feel totally inspired and compelled to plant an ultimatum on his ass.
What a light he's brought out in you. The inspiration.
Well, he did it.
Yeah.
He took away your own agency. Now take that, put it back on him. If he can get his shit together, and you want that, great. And if not, just done. But make him understand the gravity. Because right now, it's easy to be like, I love you, I miss you, I want you back. That's easy. The gravity of a choice, like you're either in this for marriage, kids, the whole thing, painful divorce, or we're done right the fuck now. With that tone,
I'm so horny.
you'll figure out if that guy's actually interested or if he's just lonely.
That's a great call. What resonates with me is, what did you say earlier? The thing that resonates, I can't remember now. The thing that resonates with me, you just keep trying to say this at the beginning of the sentence and it won't start. My question is, what was he doing for those 3 months? That's what I want to know. Because usually, especially when a guy's younger, I can't do the relationship as subtext for like, I just want to get laid by someone else. And he probably went out with that other person. I don't mean to put this in your head. Went out with that other girl, didn't work out. He's like, oh, I really miss Barbara, whatever your name is. And he went back. But I completely agree with Elan. And it doesn't have to be so severe. But, and you know what? You might date for 5 more years and it is a nice breakup. But he has to know if he, within the next year, is like, I can't do this. You're done.
You might break for 5 years. You might, as you said, have a nice, but you can't let him know that.
You can't let him know. You got to put the fear in him.
You have to make sure he understands this is life or death because he did that to you.
He did do that to you. And while relationships are not about harboring things or revenge, they are. And you are a woman. Hold on to it tightly. Stick it in a jar. Never forget what he did to you. And
I'm team revenge. I'm pro revenge.
You should get some shirts made, and I would wear one. Team revenge.
Get it done.
I believe you will get it done. Yeah. I believe you'll get a celebrity campaign and like a calendar behind it.
Give all the proceeds to charity again.
What about Team Petty?
Oh, I mean, Team Petty. Team Petty's good. But it's hard to be pro petty. You have to pretend to not be pro petty
by saying how not petty you are.
Right, exactly. I'm not petty, but here's the thing you did. One time somebody gave me. I was super stressed out, and I had a boss who was really nice, and she said to me, she's like, "You look like shit. Go get a massage. Go to this place in Culver City. I bought you a massage. Just go, gift certificate, show up, go after work today." It was like the nicest thing. And I go, and I lay down on the little thing, and the person comes into the room, and she starts rubbing me on my back, obviously. And then she says, "Do you remember me from high school?" This is a true story. And I was like, and I looked up, and I hadn't, when I walked in, I hadn't like noticed. But once she said it, I was like, oh, yes. Oh, I do. And we were mostly friends. Like, we had no problems, but we were just like mostly friends. But we weren't like close friends. And then I was like, oh, yeah, I do. It's really good to see you again. What a funny coincidence. 10, 15 minutes pass, and then I hear, "Do you remember what you wrote in my yearbook?"
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding. And I said, "I do not." And she said, well, you didn't say anything about, like, keeping in touch or being friends in the future. You just said that it was nice knowing me, and that really hurt my feelings. Oh my God. And I'm there. I'm I've underwear on because I'm
aware,
confident.
Oh, okay.
Conscious.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not confident.
Oh,
and
okay.
and So I'm there, but I'm kind of in this very vulnerable position with this person.
Yeah.
But it was actually a great moment for me because I was just like, here's the thing. I'm really sorry because it meant nothing to me, obviously, but it fucked you in some part of your brain for like 10 years that you're remembering it now. Because I don't remember about anyone's yearbook.
I don't remember.
I don't remember what the yearbook looked like.
Most people I went to high school with.
But I apparently was close enough that it bothered her. And then we had like a really nice talk for like the next 25 or 30. Instead of being defensive, I just apologized. And it was all she needed to feel like she was heard for this resentment. And I actually felt totally great about it. And afterwards, I was really glad she brought it up. Because now I could feel, I know that sounds weird.
I'm giving him the darting eyes.
I know it sounds weird, but I really think it was kind of cool that she had this thing lingering. And in the opportunity, she didn't say like, oh, fuck it, I'm going to be professional. She's like, I'm going to break every taboo.
Yeah.
And I'm going to talk to you about this thing that's been bugging me. And I loved it. And we had a really nice chat. And then we became Facebook friends and like stayed in touch for a while.
You're like, I'm glad you brought that up. What do we do about this boner? Like, I got to bring that up. I'm thinking you're stressed out, and you're like, here we go. I was stressed out the second you said Culver City after work. I'm like, how far is that commute? What time was that?
2.5 days.
Oh,
2.5 days to get
Take
there.
a
I had to take a
box
week
cart.
off work.
I've noticed that, at least since I've had my babies, that I smell differently when I sweat. Maybe I'm just like getting older. I don't know, but I smell differently. And I don't love that. If I'm on set or if I'm on stage or if I'm doing anything like functioning in public and I don't want sweat stains or to be aware of my stinky, stinky pits, that's when I turn to Lumi Whole Body Deodorant because it keeps me smelling fresh all day. Lumi is seriously safe to use anywhere on your body. Pits, under boobs, right ladies, thigh folds, belly buttons, butt cracks, your feet. It's clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. How? Well, unlike certain traditional deodorants that may try to mask odor with a fragrance, Lumi is formulated and powered by mandelic acid to stop odor before it starts. Lumi's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash or deodorant wipes, and free shipping. As a special offer for listeners, new customers get 15% off all Lumi products with our exclusive code. If you combine the 15% off with the already discounted starter pack, that equals over 40% off the starter pack. Use code Iliza for 15% off your first purchase at LumiDeodorant.com. That's code Iliza at LumiDeodorant.com.
A hilarious new stand-up special from comedy legend Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, is coming to Hulu November 22nd. This Thanksgiving, see Jim in a whole new light as he gives you the inside scoop on everything from parenting teenagers to weight loss and gaslighting family members. For everyone in need of a happy hour, the new hilarious stand-up special, Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, premieres November 22nd, streaming on Hulu.
Would you have felt that way if it was just at a Starbucks and she was like, hi, I'm Betsy. Do you remember me? Or is it because you were forced to be vulnerable and relaxed that you were like, I just gotta let it go?
I think I probably would have been a little more defensive, if I'm being honest. But I also know that I don't care about shit like that. And if it matters to someone else and it doesn't matter to me, it's really easy to let go. I'll only have the argument if I care about the topic.
I as much energy as you think I have, there are so many times where someone broaches something and I'm like, I don't care about this.
Right.
I don't have the energy to give to everyone, and that's a real battle of mine, like holding in the energy, not giving it to stupid things.
Yeah.
I want your next book. What genre? It's the humor genre, but it's like life coach humor, ironic life coaching.
Yeah.
Can you do it? It would be called Hold On to That Rage. And it will just be little paragraphs that all your celebrity friends give of a time that they wouldn't let something go and were petty. Like, I have this neighbor who has this gigantic tree and all the pine needles fall on my balcony, all of them, and it's just swamped. And I will scoop them up from time to time and just throw them over her wall. Not all of them, but like, it's like trim your fucking tree.
Yeah, look, I harbor resentment there's like 5 or 6 people that used to live next door to Molly and I, and I think about them every day.
Thank you, Emily. Did you hear that? I don't feel like such a rage monster because I think about fantasies.
I think about them every day. I envision like ways I could have handled our confrontations with more malice.
Oh, I love that. Okay, good. See?
I fantasize. I almost sexualize yelling at them. You know what I mean? Like I'm horny for screaming at my neighbors.
Yes, you're my friend.
I really am. Like it really there's something about it because their actions were so deplorable. I just want their lives to be pain.
Thank you. And you know what? I really wrestle with this thing. I really think I'm a good person. And when I have those thoughts, as I have my whole life, I'm like, is this like imposter syndrome and I'm not a good person? No, the answer is I am. Most people feel this fucking way.
Yes.
And we're such good people that I'm just blown away when someone is so selfish and it ignites this rage in me because I like to operate at a level where I think about other people. I'm considerate. I'm in a democracy, in a society. And when other people are so fucking selfish, whether it's the tiniest injustice, I was on a plane the other day, or just like this rule infraction. I was on a plane the other day. I was sitting in the exit row. And you know, this bullshit thing where you got to have the window down if you're in the exit row. She comes over, she goes, we need to have your window. And it was hot outside. It was very hot. So my legs were baking. We need to have your window down for taxi, takeoff, and landing. I said, okay. We were still at the gate. So I put the window up. She comes back over, she goes, I need that down. And I said, you said taxi, takeoff, and landing. And we are still at the gate. She goes, and before taxi. I go, okay, you didn't say that. Can't get an attitude. You did not say that, and I will put it down now.
I had a thing with the flight yesterday.
By the way, your fame came from
That's true.
An altercation you had with a woman, and a lot of it was fiction, but an initial altercation with a woman on a flight, and that's when your Twitter account blew up.
Yeah.
So this is your wheelhouse.
And because I'm on flights all the time.
Sure.
And because I believe in justice.
I am a justice warrior with my little cocktail sword.
And I believe that planes are tiny little cities that we build and live in for a short time. And the more we can all get along and be like civil, the better we're going to be. But this goes back to what you're saying about thinking things, right? Which is when you have a neighbor, let's say, who does something selfish and dumb, like they throw a party and it's 3 o'clock in the morning and they can have a party, but they have it so loud and they're screaming outside that no one can do anything. Right. There are levels of what you can do.
There are levels.
And here's the thing, is that many people will tell you that in that moment you should not pray for God to open the skies and decapitate everyone in that backyard. But I believe you should.
Thank you.
Primarily because no one's going to actually do it.
Right.
And the thought can be hyper cleansing to you as a kind of like lived out fantasy. And it has not only no negative impact, it has no impact whatsoever.
People who believe in vibration would disagree, but I agree with you.
But those people are wrong because both vibration and anything answering your prayers to decapitate your enemies don't exist. So, that's...
I think vibrations exist, but...
Well, vibrations exist.
But I'm with you. The amount of times I've been like, I hope that person dies. And people clutch their pearls like, why did you say? I'm like, they're not gonna. I never get my wish.
Right, you can hope it.
Yeah.
Hoping for $1 million and hoping a person dies have the same impact. Zero.
That's very true. Or the vibrations are real.
The vibrations are not real. I know you want the vibrations to be real. The vibrations are not real. You see patterns where you want to see them because you have a very good brain.
I think there is something to a collective conscience, and I do think there is something to the way that you want to feel, and you're saying see things, and it changes your outlook and therefore everything else around you. And that's a whole other thing. But I think what we come together on is that we both wish horrible things on people who are being horrible.
Yes. And I don't even want those things to happen. I want to allow myself the feeling.
Yes.
That's the thing.
We stifle feelings.
If somebody did decapitate all the neighbors, I'd actually feel bad.
You'd feel horrible.
Because I want an outside justice. It's not fair. They shouldn't be decapitated, but I can want it without them being decapitated.
But I also shouldn't be awake at 3 a.m.
Right.
Because you don't understand how to live in a neighborhood.
Fair.
Life's not fair. But it is, when you're the kind of person that holds yourself, I have a high set of morals. I expect a lot from other people, and I try to always do the right thing. And when other people, whether it's throwing garbage out of your window or your cigarette on the street, cutting someone off, just being rude, being on a plane, like just things that are unaware, listening to music with your headphones off.
Sure. Don't do any of those things.
People are raised by wolves.
I don't understand why, but it's an interesting thing where I think everything in life comes down to a lack of empathy. Mm-hmm. It's just that they've never considered what anyone else's experience of the world is like.
Yep.
And so how could they know that playing their music isn't good? They've
And there's
only
no way
ever
to
played their music.
Right, and there's no way there's no way to ask someone to be kind. People get so angry back. There's no way I've gone through it to tell someone, hey, please don't throw your trash out of the window. People get defensive when they're embarrassed. And then they're like, fuck you.
Oh, I had a woman driving down Mulholland the other day, and her kids were throwing trash out the window.
Oh, my God.
And I gave her a gentle honk, a meh, not even a meh, like a meh. I gave her a gentle honk.
Gentle honk.
And she pulled over, and I pulled over next to her. And I said, in this tone, I said, excuse me, just so you know, I'm honking because your children are throwing trash out the window. And she goes, oh, thank you very much, Mr. Police. Oh. And it was like, there's only two options. One, you're a sociopath. Or two, you knew that your kids were throwing trash out the window. And you think that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
I have a third option.
What's the third one?
You didn't know, and now you feel your mothering is being attacked.
It is being
because
attacked.
you didn't have eyes in the back of your head.
It is.
And so she's embarrassed.
But that's such a weird way to deal with embarrassment.
I completely agree. I was visiting the Great Wall of China. I was 21. And there was a part of the wall that had been reconstructed. This is my only justification for what I did. So the cement there had like kind of chipped off, but it wasn't original cement. Mm-hmm. And I shouldn't have done this. So I own that. And I picked up a tiny piece of it and I put it in my pocket. And this British woman, and Americans are always thought of as so ugly, she goes, if everyone did that, then there'd be no more wall left. And I just went like, okay, because like, fuck you. But also, like she was so right. And I felt so ashamed, and it forever shaped. So even in that moment, like she probably didn't get the answer she wanted of me. It forever shaped the way I consider things.
But this is why you're a good person, because that happened 15 years ago, and you remember it, right? And you think...
15?
I'm just doing the math you told me.
I'm trying to do the math. I don't know. I can't do the math. I can't do the math.
You remember that, and it has shaped your actions.
Yes. I wasn't just like, fuck her.
Yeah, no one requires you to know that you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't have done that, but you probably didn't realize it. But when it was pointed out to you, you said, okay, now I'm going to change my actions.
Another thing really satisfying, this is the last thing I'll say. I was in Atlantic City last weekend. We went to the boardwalk. And they had carnival games, and there was a kid shooting baskets. Mm-hmm. And there were these 3 kids walking. Like, just, the kids were gross. Like, they were just garbage. And they were walking by, and the kid shooting the basket shot it. And as he was releasing it, one of the kids in the little group goes, to like fuck him up. Just this total stranger who paid for this chance.
Yeah.
Which is such a shitty thing to do. And and these kids, there were 3 of them, and they looked like they could fuck someone up. Like, they were teenagers who have no soul. And I just looked at him. And he looked at me, he goes, what? And I just shook my head and walked away. And I was like, what are you going to do, hit me?
Yeah.
And I like to think that look will kind of shape the way that he interacts. Like, I want, like, hey, motherfucker, I saw you. Someone saw you, and there was some accountability there.
I hope so.
I hope he dies. It's probably for the best.
Well, there's no way of knowing if he will or won't.
There's no way.
Well, he will.
He will.
We just don't know when.
No, I don't hope he dies.
Or how.
Anonymous. How do you deal or have you dealt with guys and their fragile egos? Now, this might apply to you, Elan, but perhaps you just roll your eyes, but perhaps okay. I got at, is the eye roll because it's an annoying question or because you know you've dealt with it?
Because yes, they have them and they're horrible.
Okay, good. I got out of an emotionally abusive relationship 8 months ago. I broke up with him. She's like, for the record, I broke up with him. And since then, I've been trying to online date with Tinder and Bumble. I've used these apps before and have gotten relationships from them, including the most recent, but lately I've been noticing how guys get so butthurt if they get any sense like they're not the only one I'm talking to. If I don't reply right away, I've gotten messages like, oh, okay, I see you're not interested, or something of that sort. It's such a turnoff. Please help me conquer the world of online dating. I just want to find my person, but I feel like I'm losing my patience.
I think she's doing it right.
I think so too.
I think she's doing it right. I think all those guys that are saying, well, you're not interested? Great. Imagine what that'd be like if you were actually dating them. You're a stranger, and they feel so fucking entitled to your time. Imagine if you went on 3 dates. Like, this is a great screening process.
Entitled to your time. Excellent point. Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Get out of there.
Great.
In fact, what I would do is I would start responding with like, listen, bro.
Listen, beta bro.
I don't owe you anything, and I'm going to date whoever I want. At this point, you've taken a couple of points off yourself, but I'm still willing to give you a chance. So you let me know if you can handle a woman who has other shit to do than fucking respond to you, and get back to me. And if you're interested in someone who has a life, then we can go on a date. And if not, take it easy. Worst case scenario, you never see them again. Best case scenario, you meet someone who found your confidence interesting.
I'm sorry, that's not the worst case scenario.
What's the worst case scenario?
He kills her. Men tend to do that when they feel
But I'm talking
hurt.
about on Bumble still.
Okay.
I don't mean
Still
in
very
that
findable.
moment. Okay,
In that
that's
moment.
fair. Okay.
He rapes you, kills you, shoots up a school.
Okay, those
Men
are,
do these things.
You are right.
Okay.
Those are all very bad.
And that's our show.
Wow, it's yeah.
But you're right.
But I think that those kind of interactions can be really informative.
'Cause-
But you're right. I didn't consider that, and that's a good, nice check of my male white privilege that I go, okay, like just say whatever you want, because you're right. Maybe you can, and maybe that's a thing that women have to think about that I don't, and I've taken for granted.
I appreciate you saying that.
I'll take that.
And there's also, you may not want to engage. That might be too gross for you. Some women get turned off so quickly. There is this teachable moment where he's like, you're right, I'm so sorry, like would love to take you out. And then you're like, oh, super hot. But Elan's right, you are doing it right. And the whole, okay, so you're not interested, it's like putting this pressure, like, no, I was right there. Yeah, maybe I was. And by the way, role reversal, if you said that to a guy, he would show all of his friends and be like, look at this fucking psycho.
Yeah, which is what you should do.
Mm-hmm. And you have. On this
and
podcast.
now we're here on the podcast.
I love that. Anonymous, what is your biggest pet peeve about grocery stores? Mine is a cashier that refuses to help me bag my shit, especially when there's no other customers in line. It seems that every checkout I scramble to catch the rogue apples and lemons because I'm a good person that doesn't use plastic bags, cha-ching, as the cashier throws my fruits and veggies haphazardly down the conveyor belt. Why don't they help me instead of watching me awkwardly attempt to throw my shit in a bag before the grand total is revealed? Why?
I have a theory.
Yeah.
And I believe there is an implicit rule in grocery stores that they do not help you when you bring your own bags.
Oh, she said just plastic bags.
I'm assuming that means she brings her own bags. I'm not saying that's right.
Interesting.
I'm not saying it's a good rule.
Interesting.
But I've noticed over the years that if you bring your own bags, they're very reticent to help you.
Why?
I don't know. I think part of it might be that they actually want to encourage you to buy bags.
Should we call Ralph's right now?
Yes, let's call Ralph's.
Okay. Emily, can you get Ralph's on the phone?
This feels more like a Whole Foods question.
Let's call Whole Foods. I feel like Michael Scott. Get him on the phone. You're not. What are you saying no to me for? Why is that even an option? I'll call right now.
Mr. Foods?
Can we not do that?
Call Whole Foods?
Call the grocery store and be like, I have a question.
Do you have a policy?
Can you just get
Can
them
I
on
Google it?
Get the number from Google. I do think it's more of a Ralph's question. Okay, here we go.
Split the difference and go Gelson's.
No, I'm not doing that. I already called Whole Foods. Okay, here we go. I'm calling Whole Foods.
Already too many Jews in here. And the Gelson on top of it.
There you go. Should I disguise my voice?
No.
Excuse
Pardon me. I have a query.
Okay, they're not gonna. Of course, they're not gonna answer. Can't even get a fucking parking spot there. They're not gonna answer.
What are they?
What are they doing?
What are the other phone calls they're getting? Competing podcasts asking same question.
How is it just ringing? Welcome to fucking LA. All right.
It's very upsetting.
Can you get Ralph's on the phone?
Even the phone's got traffic.
Get me Ralph's on the phone. I'm gonna answer another question.
I want you to play all of this, including you yelling about Ralph's on the
Keep
phone.
all of it.
We are recording this one from Nevada, by the way.
Okay.
That's to skirt the privacy laws.
Oh, right. This is all right. We'll call. Is anyone gonna help me? Is she doing it?
Yeah, she's looking it up.
Or
You
she's
can call
not?
it Ralph's in Nevada. What's a
playing Words with
one-way?
Yeah, call just something. Okay, they do it.
Hello, can I speak to Ralph, please?
Excuse me, is Ralph
Is
there?
this his place?
Here we go.
Here's the crazy thing. Apparently, a new thing is that grocery stores don't answer the phone. What if you want to know if they have something?
What is happening?
It's very strange.
And
Maybe they don't have phones.
they have phones. Anonymous. If you were to create a holiday, a national holiday, what traditions would it have and would you eat? And what would you eat as part of that holiday? Oh, that's a great question.
Oh, man.
Oh, I already
Oh,
have my
that's
answer.
good. Okay, you go first while I think of mine.
I'm going to pitch you this idea, society. It's National Unfollow Day. It's like the purge. It's one day a year where it's totally like socially legal to unfollow anyone that you've collected over the years, a friend that you made them drunk, and they can never bring it up. They can't be hurt. They cannot seek any revenge on you. It's a National Unfollow Day, and we will eat strawberries.
I love that idea.
Thank you.
I would be into that.
National Unfollow Day. What could people eat that? Maybe like prunes.
Why?
Because you get all prune. Yeah, I'm a prune face. Oh, you unfollowed me. I'm a prune. I was once a plum. It was because your relationship was once something
a plum.
tasty. Yeah, and now
it was
it's
once a plum.
Could also
now
eat
it's a
raisins.
prune. Yeah, anything. It's a dried fruit holiday.
Anything that once was better and now is like, okay.
It's a dried fruit holiday.
Yeah.
Every culture needs a dried fruit holiday.
Yeah.
I think there should be a quiet day.
Okay.
A day where there is, you're not allowed to raise your voice over a certain volume.
Oh, so not like contemplative, like
No.
Memorial Day.
No, you can talk. You just can't yell or shout. Everyone has to be a certain amount of quiet. And I think the food you have to eat is you have to eat pasta because it's soft and it doesn't make noise, and you have to eat it with your hands.
So no clinking.
So no clinking.
So it's like an ASMR, no mukbang kind of day.
Yeah.
Redhead underscore. Okay. Redhead underscore unicorn says, Elan, why did you make a food gram to make me envy you more than I do?
That's why. I want to make you feel worse about what's going on with you by looking like what's going on with me is good.
Which is the crux of Instagram.
That's how we've learned to operate as a species, and I am no better than the worst of us.
Do you really believe that?
I really do.
Then the worst?
Well, in that capacity.
Sure.
Like
we're all doing it.
I love to be like, oh, look how cool my life is. But it's really, there's a lot of downtime between the cool things.
Hence the cooking.
But there's also a lot of just like sitting and staring at my fucking phone and reading articles. I get up, I'd spend 2 hours a day probably reading articles that make me mad.
Absolutely.
I'm like an expert in shit that makes me mad. I'm an expert in all kinds of things that have no impact on my life and that I can do nothing about, but I spend hours, and then I go to dinner and I talk about them, and it seems like I'm like doing something.
True coastal elite move right there.
It's so fucked. And I just spend every morning, half an hour, got to check the news. Why? Why do I have to check the news? I'm not saying I shouldn't. I'm just saying, why is it such an impulse that I know about every single thing that's happening?
Because bad news will find you. Like, you'll know if we're going to war.
And I talk to people and I go like, oh my God, can you believe about this regulation and that one and Hong Kong right now? And I'm glad I know, but it doesn't make me better. It doesn't make me useful necessarily.
I mean, I think it adds to the consciousness that way when you make comments, if you're like, man, they don't do anything in Hong Kong. You're like, actually, they're having some civil unrest right now. But it does add to the agita. And there are many things you can't, like I look at too many. We all hit the explore button too much on our Instagrams. And mine's curated with my algorithm. It's just, you can watch my face age. It's just, here's a dolphin eating a bottle. Here's a bird that doesn't have a habitat. Here's a koala that's sad because his forest got cut down. And
Totally.
I just feel horrible.
And you're not learning anything new. You're not learning anything very often.
Yeah.
Usually what you're seeing is proof of what you already know that just makes you feel worse. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do it because I do it too. But it's not like you wouldn't go like, hey, check out what I did today. I watched turtles get stuck in six-pack rings and I cried.
I do. I put it on my Instagram. I'm like, you guys need to see this too. Because I actually, environmental stuff, I don't feel, because I was one of them people know. And so I want to share that pain so you feel as shitty as I feel.
Yeah.
And do what you can.
It works. You and Nikki Glazer, who I love, you both make me feel like hell all the time.
You
But
got
because
there's an
I
art
like
to it.
feeling like hell,
Right.
I'm okay with it.
You enjoy. There's an art to it because if it's just that, people will unfollow.
No, you weave it in so it unexpectedly hits you in the dick.
That's right. Because that's the impact. That's what you want.
Right. You're having a nice day. Oh, I saw something the other night of a pig.
I don't want to hear about this.
It was
Is
a
it
pig.
like dead?
No, it was just a pig in a slaughterhouse walking to slaughter, and it was crying.
Yeah.
And
Oh my God! I don't
I-
want to hear that.
I cried for 20 minutes.
But you still will eat pork.
Yes, I will.
Yeah.
And because
It was crying.
it was the worst. Thinking about it right now makes me feel horrible.
I don't really eat pork.
And
so-
I do, but we're all, I want to say we're all, most of us are giant hypocrites.
Elan, that's gonna sit with me. Like I'm so sad right now. Like you have no idea. People think, oh, she's so strong.
Well, now you know
These
what it's
things
like to
hit me.
fucking follow you on Instagram. Welcome to the club.
Well, make sure you put your bottle in the recycle bin. I won't have to show you things.
Well, this whole office that you've presented in front of me is full of plastic bottles.
It's not my. No, it's not.
These are all plastic bottles.
What are you doing?
They can't.
I have my swell, and
they
we
can't
even bring
see.
in glass bottles. They know me.
There's 6 packs. There's tons. Oh, that's fucked. That's fucked.
My mother.
Oh my
It's my birthday.
Oh God.
I was supposed to be with my mother. Ow! My leg. Ow! Yeah.
That's horrible.
That's in my mind 24 hours a day. An animal saying, "It was my birthday. Where's my mother?"
Why is that so specific?
Because I know
Why is
what
it their
hurts people.
birthday?
Because I know what hurts people.
It's
I know
funny,
what
but
to
I gotta
say.
tell you, I would lose the birthday bit because it just makes me smile because I keep thinking they're aware of their birthdays.
They're very
What did they
smart.
do last year?
I was supposed to take the bar. It's Holocaust Remembrance Day.
Take the boar.
Crystal Knock. I know about days.
Oh my God. World War II cognizant pigs is fucking me up,
He's trying so.
especially because we don't eat them.
My little legs. my legs.
Oh, darkness.
Speaking of darkness and lightness, it's time for Top of the Cob. It's the top of the cob. We're doing it right every day. You just take a bite. Top of the cob. Have you prepared your top of the bottom of the cob?
That I'm recovering from the jingle.
So good though, right?
It's so good.
I did it on a whim.
Oh, it's so good.
I'm a musical genius. Nobody knows it.
Everyone knows it now.
Nobody cares. That's true. You know what? I'll kick it off with my top of the cob. When I go into a coffee shop and I see that they don't have plastic straws, the sense of relief from like, good, I don't have to watch some fucking useless person use a plastic straw who is not disabled, by the way. Do not give me that argument. And even though the cups are plastic, it's one less thing. And that made just a sigh of relief that people are doing the right thing.
Can I comment on this for a second?
Yeah.
Okay. I was at Starbucks yesterday in the airport. I ordered an iced coffee. They brought over the iced coffee. It was a plastic cup. I was in an airport.
Mm-hmm.
They put on the lid. It was a clear plastic lid that looked just like the old lids to remove the straws. Now I have questions. One is, how did it take so long? Because it's the exact same lid, just clear for iced drinks.
You're talking about like the sippy lid.
The sippy lid.
Yeah, but it's clear, not the white one. Right.
But the second question I have is, isn't that just the same plastic in a different shape?
But minus the straw. So you
So
don't
the
need the
straw
apparatus.
is the issue.
The straw is the issue because of this. It actually has to do with the shape. It falls through a lot of the machinery that processes
Okay.
things. So that ends up not getting recycled or falling into the ocean because it's not as big as other things.
Got it.
That
Great.
being said, we should all be reusing refillable things. I carry one with me. You don't need a straw. That's the other thing is you don't really need a straw.
I don't need a straw.
Right.
I never use a straw
So there you
if
go.
I can avoid it.
Men should not use straws.
Well, it looks funny, and it causes you to get those little wrinkles around your mouth.
And you get wrinkles. Men can grow beards. No one sees your wrinkles.
I'm hiding all of mine.
It's just a full-on droopy Shar-Pei face.
I'm afraid of shaving because I have no fucking clue what's under there. I could look horrible.
Just aged from the nostrils down.
I don't know. I could have sores.
We don't know.
I don't know.
You got to keep the
I haven't
beard.
seen my chin in 20 years.
Chances are you don't have an upper lip.
No. No way of knowing. Okay,
we
what's
gotta- I wanna know.
you have a
No, you got to do your top of the cob.
my top of the cup thing I love.
I love things too.
Okay, I was at the post office the other day, and there was a dude there who wanted to mail something, but he didn't bring a box, and he refused to buy a box. And he started getting really irritated with the people behind the counter and being like a real dick to them and saying like, well, why can't you just give me a box? And they're like, well, because we sell boxes because we're a store that sells boxes. And they're like, well, what if I bring a box? He goes, go bring it. That's what we said. He goes, well, can I get one out of your trash? And they said, sure. And then what they did was so great. It was like they've dealt with this before. For me, it was the first time, but they were ready. And every few minutes for the duration of the time that he was there, a new person would walk up and deal with him and then disappear forever. So they would say, oh, I'm sorry, can you explain what the problem is? And then he'd have to start from the beginning. And he was just getting angrier and angrier and angrier. And for the amount of shit I feel like postal people get, it was really lovely to see that they had a system in place to ruin this guy's day.
Yeah.
Because he was being a dick.
Why didn't you just go to the trash? He said he was going to.
Oh, he went to the trash, and then the next person, after like person 3, he went to the trash. He came back. He put the trash on the counter, and that person said, excuse me, sir, you can't just put trash on the counter. And they made him take it off and throw it back away.
Really?
It really made my day. Because if he was just a guy that couldn't figure it out, it would have been fine. But he was being so mean to them. You're like, what are you doing? What are you so busy doing? You can't help me.
See,
motherfucker.
Okay.
You think you don't like that one?
I think once you're representing a set of rules, and I have this issue with flight attendants all the time that just sort of gerrymander their own rules. They're like, this flight you can, this flight you can't because I'm not nice. You said he could use a box from the trash. You said he could. And he may not be awesome, but like you're working at the post office and you don't have to withstand the abuse, but you did say it was okay. So when he brought it back, for you not to uphold that just makes them the problem.
But that's why it was so genius, because it wasn't the same person. That
they
person
represent
was
the entity.
Gone.
Elan.
But that person was playing willy-nilly with the rules, man.
But
willy-nilly.
Well, that's like at a restaurant when or a store when someone quotes you a price.
Yeah.
And I say, I was told this is $24. Well, that you have to honor it if that's what someone told you. You are representing the entity. What they did was wrong, even though he was wrong. They can both be wrong.
Everyone was wrong.
People weigh in on this.
But I enjoyed the pain. Yeah. What do you guys think?
No, I meant in the comment section, not you guys.
Okay, in the comment section.
When we post it.
Eventually.
Emily's going to side with whatever bothers me. Emily's going to, wow. What is and where's Ralph's, by the way?
We can't talk. They don't answer. No one at a grocery store is answering their phone.
I know that because I'm the one that called them. This is my life.
I knew
everyone
that already
anti-me.
because I've called a million grocery
Are there
stores.
other grocery stores that are independent? Could we call like Bob's Mart? There's that place on...
No, because that'll be different. They'll be like, of course we do. It's a Bob's Mart oath. What's your take on the box situation?
I stand behind a lot of bad people at the post office, so I like them getting theirs, but I don't want to be told something different.
See? You tell me one thing, like the lady with the window flap in the exit row. You said a specific set of rules, and then you changed it because your power felt threatened.
But she came back and she changed the rules.
That's what I'm saying. She changed it. It was not right.
You're saying that whatever someone says to you first lasts forever?
If you are representing an entity.
But
yes.
the primacy is the most important.
1,000%.
What if she's wrong?
But me having it down was not affecting anything with the plane. We were still, you could be standing up with your seatbelt off, and I can't have my window down.
Okay, so when I was flying yesterday, this is the story I didn't tell.
We were at the gate.
I was at the gate. I had my backpack. I had a tiny...
He just pointed to his backpack, just so you know.
There's a backpack in here. I had my backpack. I had a little bag, small, like fit in the overhead, and I had a suit.
That's 3 items.
So I go... Right, I go, and the woman stops me, and she goes, sir, you have too many items. And I said, they're just going to hang it in the closet. I know this plane has a closet. She said, how do you know this plane has a closet? I go, I've been on this plane. I know this plane has a closet. She goes, I'm sorry, talk to my supervisor. I go to the supervisor.
On the plane?
No, I'm still at the gate.
Oh, okay.
I go to the supervisor. The supervisor says, I'm sorry, sir, FAA regulations. I go, I understand. Please take this piece of shit suit and give me a little thing. And then the woman who originally stopped me, she pulls me aside as I'm doing. She goes, sneak onto the plane with it, hand it to the flight attendant, stick it in the closet.
You're like, that's what I was going to do.
And I did, and it all worked out fine. But if I had gone with what she had said first, she was wrong that they wouldn't hang it.
Okay.
They hung it. So I'm just giving you an example that
Primacy
sometimes...
being what I think is right. Then we go from there.
Right, so you want people to affirm your rules, and then you want them to stand by them.
I'm not hurting anyone. And by the way, that suit, are you flying first class?
Yes.
Hang the fucking suit. I just paid so much for a thing of shitty peanuts and a garbage in-flight movie about Christmas. Hang my fucking suit. That does not count. And you could wear it as a coat, and then it's like, is my coat a carry-on? No.
Right.
So is the apparatus, is the thing in question the hanger?
You have to swallow the hanger.
If I could become a judge and just do airplane law, I would be happy.
Airplane court, that's a show.
Oh, my God. You know what? I'll write that sketch.
You should do it. You should do airplane court for your show.
Okay, I'll write it down. And thus our Emmy award-winning sketch was born. What is your bottom of the cob? Because I got a good one. I'm writing down airplane court. No one's going to watch this but me.
I went to a place that sold fresh seafood on a port, and everything was fried.
Oh, that is shitty. Scott just gave the weirdest look. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, what a bummer, man.
Yeah.
That is very bottom of the cob.
It's literally, we're looking at the water. Their whole thing is, we have the freshest things.
What port?
Newport, Rhode Island.
Oh, Rhode Island. Okay, because I was like...
No, not like Newport.
Because I was like, the fish didn't come from Orange County.
Oh, just Venice Beach, dragon and shrimp.
Yeah, there is no excuse.
No excuse.
And there was not an option for... And I could see...
They don't have a grill?
Into the kitchen. I could see all of the non-yet ruined seafood.
Yeah.
It was there, but they wouldn't give it to me.
Ew.
They needed to fry it before they could hand it across the counter.
Was there a freezer issue that day?
No, it's just
trying to make sense of this.
They just only that's their thing. That's how it's good to them. I don't know. Made me
What's
very sad.
the name of the place? Let's shame them publicly.
I don't remember. I didn't eat there.
You're right.
I left.
I'm in such a red rage.
I left. I waited an hour in line at the Newport Lobster Shack afterwards to avoid eating at the fried food emporium.
Most people are garbage. And they're like, fresh fish and it's fried. Oh, my best
Why
friend.
would you fry the fresh? You fry food to
When it's
get
old.
rid of it.
I don't think the layperson associates that reasoning. I think they're like, oh, it's fresh and I love fried. I don't think all people appreciate food.
Fried food makes me very angry almost all the time. There's no reason to fry food.
That's true. Oh, the Japanese
90% of the time.
Tasty fried food.
They sure do.
Sure
but
do.
But that's like second and third tier in their food hierarchy. Like
Right.
It's still junk food's fine. Right? When you're having junk food shouldn't be fried. But other than that, don't fry. Don't ruin food with bread and oil.
If by some reason that seafood was flown in from somewhere else, then you can actually take them to airplane court.
Oh, yeah.
Dun dun. Airplane court is now in session. This is an airplane court issue. This is my bottom of the cob. It happens on airplanes. It happens everywhere, really. I think being a mother is the hardest job in the world. I don't know, haven't been one, but it really feels like it is. And I always go out of my way to be kind to mothers who are in transit. When I see mom with like two, it's always, the dad is never there. It's always like, we got to get on a flight to see daddy in DC. It's always a mom with two kids or whatever. And I can imagine how difficult that is because kids can be nightmares. I always go out of my way to smile or say a comment like, oh, wow, you're superwoman. Just something to, when a mother just can't return the decency. I don't have to make you feel better about this. I don't have to be nice about the fact that your kids are being nightmares. And I always smile to let them know it's okay. Or if I say like, oh my God, your baby's so cute. The amount of women who are just like, or say nothing. I didn't have to acknowledge your child or your existence or your struggle. And I'm doing it because you look like you could use a smile. And I didn't do it for anything back, but for you to give me this like, shut up, you single fucking whore. You don't have kids. That's what I feel back. So we're all trying to be nice here. I'm trying not to make you feel bad for being like a mom traveling with kids. At least be a decent human back.
This is how similar we are. On Friday, I thanked a woman who was sitting near me for how great her kid was.
Oof.
Her kid was not great, but I could tell she was trying. And so at the end of the flight, because I heard that the guy next to her was looking at her, so at the end of the flight I said, hey, just want to say, a lot of people don't try, and I really appreciate, like, you really, you don't have to. You went out of your way to make sure that the kid didn't go nuts, so thank you. But on a flight back in December from Singapore, there was a child behind me and another child also behind me on two middle seats, 2 kids alone, parents on each side on the aisle. From the moment we took off on the 17-and-a-half-hour flight, for the first 4 hours, it wasn't crying, it was screaming. It was screaming, full-throated, lion roaring, like shit exploding, robots fucking levels of screaming. And in hour 4, and I mean, we're all looking at each other like, this is new. And in hour 4, the flight attendant came up, woke up the mother, who somehow was asleep. Both parents were sleeping, and said, right behind me, said, "Excuse me, is there anything we can do at all to help?" And her response was, "We don't do that. We let them cry until they're done." Which is totally fine in your home. Yeah. But not when every person around you has paid $4,000 for a seat and you're flying for 17 hours. And let me tell you, these kids went on for 11 hours straight of just screaming. And the parents slept like babies. And the rest of us, I mean, it was all the way through customs. I actually stopped one of the guys at customs and I said, "Do not let that person back into this country." And they said, "What did they do?" And I said, "You don't even want to know."
Eli, they could go to jail.
They should go to jail.
Don't let them back in this
Don't let them back into our country.
Retribution.
That's where your pig dream came from.
Elan, you have been an excellent guest. This is the most wrapped I've ever been. I enjoyed talking to you. And I said that. That's not sarcastic. I meant it. I really enjoyed our talk.
We have fun.
We always have fun.
Yeah.
We should have more fun.
I'd be happy to do that.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll bring the significant others and we'll go have fun. The book, You Are Not That Great, But Neither Is Anyone Else, is available. He is at the Year of Elan on Instagram, and that's where you conduct most of the
That's where you
business.
can find me.
That's where you can find him. Check out the tasty food at The Food of Elan.
The Food of Elan.
Join his yolk cracking club.
Yeah.
Check that out. You can use that name.
Every time I crack a yolk, an angel gets its wings.
That's right, but not that pig, because he died a horrible death. Oh. My mother.
So sad.
Need turkey tips? Our Butterball Turkey Talk line is open. We'll help with what's on the table so you can focus on those around it. Call 1-800-BUTTERBALL or text 844-877-3456. Butterball. Today, we turkey.